If you're like many traders, you're probably using multiple indicators for trade setups and also to determine overall trend direction. We developed AdaptiveTrend to eliminate all of those indicators and make one easy-to-use indicator where you can visually see how prices are trending in any given market. So I want to get into it, and we're going to briefly talk about some of the things that make AdaptiveTrend work, and then also, and more importantly, how do you trade it? One thing to note, AdaptiveTrend has over 28 registered signals, so you can scan almost every single aspect of this indicator, from changes in color to different buy setups. It really is a robust tool. There's a lot of technology, a lot of programming that went into this. We're really proud of it. And again, the goal is to make it simple. Make it simple so you can execute decisions on a very high level. So let's get into it. So first, I do want to plug one of our newer indicators that I hope will be available soon, and this is called Pullback Pro. Pullback Pro was designed to be able to reconcile Elliott wave theory with certain pullbacks, especially wave 4, wave 2s, minor wave 4s, minute wave 4s, and try to establish some trading opportunities. It's a really great indicator. It complements Adaptive Pro in such a wonderful way. In fact, when I developed it, I had AdaptiveTrend in mind when I developed it, and they work so well together. But that's for another video. Let's get into AdaptiveTrend. So with AdaptiveTrend, immediately you're going to notice there are multiple colors. So let's go over the colors real quick. Gray signifies consolidation. Okay, so whenever prices are consolidated or when they're compressed, it's typically consolidation period. Okay, it also means that some of our internal proprietary indicators aren't all agreeing together. So watch out for them. They're great opportunities though, sometimes when you can catch a pullback. The other outlying candles are the pink magenta candles. Now, we consider these contrary candles. And the reason for it is that in this case, they should be blue, but for some reason, there's not confluence, and now they're contrary to the trend that you find them typically. So if you see a pink bar, it is a telltale sign that you probably want to tighten up your stops, okay, because they're almost always going to be indicative of a reversal in trend. So light blue is weak bullishness. All right, so there's not a lot of momentum. It's still kind of establishing, but as the trend strengthens, you'll see that the colors change from a light blue to a very dark blue. And in fact, there's one blue that's even darker than this. You don't see them very often, and I have seen them more at tops or in runaway markets. But this is, if you see some really dark bars like this and you're in this trade, you're going to see some decent movement. Let me pull that Pro off just for a second. Okay, let's talk about the buy and sell signals. So now that you understand that visually you can determine trend strength, you can determine where reversals may happen. Okay, now we want to look at some of the signals. Now, one thing to note before we get into the signals, because this is also important, is that the bars will update in real time, so there's no lag. It doesn't update after the fact. As the bar is developing, the gradient will change with it, which is really important. So this is not something that you're going to see after the fact. This is real time. So let's talk about the buy and sell signals. So you have seven different buy and sell signals. Okay, they range from stealth buy, primary, continuation, reversal, swing buys. Those are all reversal type bars. Momentum helps you to get into a trending market. Stealth and primary, you'll usually find those very early in the change of a trend. Okay, now the different settings: primary, buy and sell. You're going to get more signals with aggressive, fewer with conservative, but they're more reliable. The gradient mode, several of the buy and sell signals have a condition where it will look at the gradient logic to fire off that buy or the sell signal. Okay, so if you want more, go aggressive. If you want fewer, then go to conservative. And what you'll see is the gray bars will either increase, decrease. The pink bars may increase or decrease, but usually normal is going to be fine. Okay. OBV filter. This is an important one. The OBV filter uses volume to confirm the legitimacy of that buy or sell signal. So again, if you want to go conservative, use OBV filter. It's a great tool that we built in there. So let's look at some buy and sell signals. Right now we're just going to put buy signals on. Okay, so here's your S-buy. Your S-buy, like I said, is usually really early. But I know what you're saying. What about, this M-buy, this momentum buy, and this stealth buy? Would you have got into this trade? Now this is an important part of the video, and you're going to want to pay real close attention, because just because we provide you the buy and sell signals doesn't mean that you enter into every trade. And we have some tools that we want to share in order for you to be more successful. Now eventually in future iterations, probably in an AdaptiveTrend Plus, we are working on some really cool technology and techniques that'll take care of everything I'm going to show you in such a dynamic way that I've never seen it before. But until then, if you're a subscriber, this is what you want to do. Okay, and I encourage everyone, you have 5 days for free. Try the tool. You're going to love it. So this is what we're going to do. So usually you can draw fibs, okay, and usually we draw fibs to find what retracements, right? But we're going to use this a little bit differently. So you're going to draw your fibs, okay, and then you're going to double click, and just like you would normally edit, you're going to edit some values in here, and I'm going to give you those values, and then you're going to save custom annotations, and you're going to save it. Okay, so I'm going to show you what one looks like. So here I have my entry and exit. So I'm going to go from the top down to the bottom. Now this is my entry price. So this is my entry signal, this is my entry price, and this is my stop loss. Okay, from here I know this is my 1-to-1, my 2-to-1, my 3-to-1, my 4-to-1. Now here are the values. So go ahead and pause the video, and you're going to want to write this down. Now this technique I've used for years. You don't have to use AdaptiveTrend. I would recommend anyone do this. It's served me well over the years of trading, and you can adjust the values, right? So you can be a little bit more conservative on your entry, maybe a little bit more loose on your stop loss. But here are the values. 1.125, that's my entry. Okay. 2.275, level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5. All right. For my stop loss, you need to use a negative value. So negative 0.0625. Okay, it's half of this. With AdaptiveTrend, you can afford to keep most of your stop losses fairly tight. Okay, that's one of the advantages of this tool, of this technology, is that we look for big breakout bars and we try to avoid unnecessary trades. Again, this is what's amazing about this tool. There are no other indicators on this chart, right? If you want to lay over a moving average, you can. That's totally fine. But there are no other indicators on this chart. It's already built in for you. This is the great thing about AdaptiveTrend. Okay, so let's look at several other instances. Now, this stealth buy, would I have bought this? Nope. Right? One thing I want to, and this is a little bit more advanced, is whenever you have a downtrend and you see kind of this island, if you will, and if it's a failed buy, you can use this as a sell signal as well. It's a failed buy signal. It's probably going to reverse down. Same thing here. Okay, now let's get to the actual buys. All right, so we're going to use our tool. And this is where I like to talk about the 3-bar rule. Again, set up your own. I've seen 3, 5, 9-bar rules. What that means is that from your entry signal, if the trade doesn't exceed your entry price within the first 3 bars, it resets. Now, here's the beauty of adaptive trend. You see that blue bar, blue bar, blue bar, blue bar, like you're still, there's some building up here. You probably would have taken this trade, right? You would have got in, short pullback, and then you're off to the races. It's wonderful. What about this one? Let's say you miss the S buy here, but you want to get in again. The bars are blue. All right, cool. You're in. You gap up. You have a little pink bar. It did not pull back. Okay, so then you're up here again. All right. This would have been your only trade that you would have probably got stopped out at. All right. Probably would have been stopped out here, which is fine. But again, once you see that pink bar, you would have placed your stop. You probably would have moved it up. You have to move it up. If you see a pink bar, you must move up your stop. That's why it's there. I wouldn't have had it in there if it didn't matter. That's why it's there. But look at this swing buy. I love swing buys. They're one of my favorite trades because they often offer a very, very low risk. The risk to reward ratio is absolutely insane. I love them. I love the S buys as well. Again, gray bars, consolidation, and look at what your stop loss would have been. Like it just would have been tiny. Typically, if it's that tiny, I will go back to another bar here. So, I mean, big deal, right? Like you're still your risk to reward is great. This M buy would have been another awesome trade. All right. Again, you might have pretty tight. So you probably could have went back one more. Right now, here's how I use the stop loss, and this is a very practical way. This is part of the whole adaptive trend trading system. Is managing your money. You're going to use this tool here, and again, that's the arrow with the %. You're going to click on your bottom. You're going to click on your top somewhere, wherever it's going to allow you. Okay, so here, I know that I have 23, call it $25, right? Between my entry point and my stop loss. Whatever I want to, let's say I want to risk $100 on this trade. I know it sounds silly, $100. Then I would say $100 divided by 25. So I would trade 4 shares. That's what I would trade in this particular setup. Okay, 4 shares. Because now I know what my stop loss is. I know where I'm entering. I know my maximum loss, right, divided by what I'm willing to lose, and that's how many shares I trade. That's just how I do it. Now, here's the other beautiful thing about doing it this way. So let's say you enter in to adaptive trend. One of the things we don't talk a lot about is it is the perfect pyramiding tool. Perfect pyramiding tool. So I won't enter in with my full amount here. I send out a probe, right? Is it worth it? And once it starts proving that that this is a good trade, I build up a little cushion, and then I'll add a little bit more, right? So usually I add 3, maybe 4 different positions. So I know if I want to put in X amount of dollars, now I'm playing with house money. I never, and nor should you, double down on losers ever. That's why this stop loss is here. We don't put good money at bad. So, but this again, you could have gotten here. Even if you got in here, right, you're still writing this. You could have set your stop loss down here. There's so many ways that you can do it. You could have waited for some gray bars, perhaps. I don't know, but this would have been another trade. You could pyramid it in here, and then things get a little sloppy up here. Right? So you would have been in this trade using this method. But as soon as you've seen that purple bar, the pink bar, you would have probably been out. Now, notice how the trend just it's a correction in time, and so you have a lot of weak bullish gray consolidation. Would you want to be in that? I don't know. I mean, probably not. So again, a really great tool. Let's see. Let's go to. Oh, and by the way, this also works on your lower time frames. Exactly the same. Okay. So entry buy, would you have taken it? It's a buy, right? Like you can still see what happens. And so, like I said, sign up for the 5-day trial. Make sure that you use this technique. This is going to help make you successful. I already put in all of the logic in here. It's easy to use. If you want to use other tools, you can. I think it's just going to confuse you a little bit. A moving average would be great, preferably a 64. Simple bar or EMA moving average is fine, but don't overcomplicate it. Right? That's why you're going to subscribe, is because this tool helps you to make fast decisions and it doesn't overcomplicate things. Yes, you would have been in this trade. Right? That swing buy, yep, you would have been in that trade. You probably would have got stopped out because of this weird bar here. Sorry guys, we can't predict that. Let's see here. Yep. And if you follow the profit rules, right, all of these are very profitable. This here, light bullish, you're skeptical. You would have been into this trade, right? It turned gray right away. Okay. This bar right here would have told you, hey, you're probably out. Now, this is where the pullback pro comes in, because it gives you insight into this whole, into this mess right here. So anyway, so I hope that was helpful. Like I said, sign up for the 5 free-day trial. A lot of enhancements are coming out. This is a fully baked product. Like I said, it is meant to be easy. We try to take out as much confusion as possible. Hopefully, you found some tools that live outside of AdaptiveTrend that'll also make you a more successful trader. If you have any questions, drop us a line. We're always more than willing to help. But I appreciate your time in exploring how AdaptiveTrend can help you become a better trader.